This week on the Tombow blog, we were challenged to be inspired by this collection of images on Pinterest. So I selected this acoustic boho color scheme and I gathered all my supplies to match. So I have some cardstock, some fancy pants papers and elements, some goodies from Bella Boulevard from a promotion we did a while back, and the Tombow stamp runner. Most of this product I did receive for free as part of my design team work. So I have a 12 by 12 red cardstock here, and I cut it to 5.5 inches wide by 8.5 inches to make an A2 card base. Then I used the scoring blade on this Westcott trimmer to score in the middle at 4.25 inches and folded that in half. Next, I'm taking this coral cardstock and cutting it into 1-inch squares. Then I'm taking some Westcott scissors and cutting those in half to be triangles. I cut a card front from this piece of fancy pants paper that came in a pack that we're supposed to be doing a promotion with fancy pants in the future with Tombow, but I got the paper already, so I decided to use it. So this is a shimmery like coral cardstock, and I decided to cut one square out of that and make little triangles for the center of my little faux quilted, like Native American inspired card front. So if you look at my inspiration piece up there, I printed it out on some cardstock. You can see that I'm kind of replicating the pattern that is on the pillow in the picture to create this card front. And then behind the guitar, it's hard to see, but you'll actually be able to see this if you click down in the description. There is a link to a blog post. If you're watching this on the Tombow blog, then you already see the blog post. There are some little like doodle lines on the background where that guitar is on that inspiration picture. So I will add those later. But basically I'm cutting out 1-inch squares out of different colors of paper that match my color scheme, and then I'm using the scissors to cut them in half diagonally to create the triangles that I'm then piecing together and adhering with the Tombow stamp runner to the front of the card so that it creates this fun tribal inspired, like Native American feeling type pattern. Now to add more texture to these, you could rough up the edges of the pieces of paper with your fingernail, and I do that later on the tag on the bottom of this birthday card. You can also add stitching lines with a pen or a pencil, or you can even stitch this all together with a real sewing machine if you wanted to have an even more textural, authentic look. So I'm just piecing on the last few pieces of this fancy pants paper to finish out the look of my card, and you can see that it actually mimics the look of the that pillow that is on my inspiration piece. So what I like about the Tombow stamp runner is that you can apply adhesive to basically any shape of anything, and it sticks in a diamond pattern, so it's easy to take on and off. If it hangs over the edges, you just rub it and it comes right off, but it holds really, really well. Okay, so I cut a little strip of this like cardstock that has plus signs on it and made that into a little banner to put my sentiment on. So I stamped my sentiment, and then I went ahead and cut the notches on the other side of the banner. That way my sentiment would be centered, because if I cut the notches first, I would definitely have stamped it crooked. Then I did the same thing with a piece of that shimmery coral cardstock to make that as kind of a mat for my banner. I use a stamp runner to put those two pieces together. And then I took some Tombow foam tape and put that on the back of the little banner to give it a little bit of dimension and pop it up off the page. And then I used my fingernails to kind of rough up the edges of the paper because I wanted it to have some of that texture of like the rough fabric and materials that were in the image. Then I used a Tombow dual brush pen to add some little doodle lines in here to again mimic that pattern on the wall behind the guitar. And here you can see the finished card. It's pretty simple. You could use some ink to make some splatters on it if you wanted to give it a little bit more of a worn look. And like I said, you could add some pen lines with pencils if you wanted. Head on over to the Tombow blog. All week long we're doing Pinterest inspiration, and I will have a link down in the description. If you're watching this on the Tombow blog, thanks for being here. Please leave us a comment down in the comment section and click the subscribe button above the typewriter here on this image to subscribe to my channel to get more crafty tutorials. Thanks for tuning in. Bye!